Fellow Pennsylvanian, Ms. Lee from Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to say that it is a little interesting of a choice to be holding a hearing on dismantling equal protections for equal pay on Equal Pay Day. But we need Equal Pay Day because wage laws in our country were never designed to be fair. From the very beginning, they have reflected the choices that we make, choices about who we value, whose labor we under or fairly pay, and who we leave behind. And for generations, Black workers, brown workers, women, and especially Black women have been trapped at the bottom of that hierarchy. We see that clearly in today's economy, where the people holding up entire industries, nursing home aides, restaurant servers, grocery store workers are often the lowest paid. Those are overwhelmingly women. These are disproportionately women of color, and they are working full-time jobs that still don't cover the rent, food, childcare, their basic needs. Mr. Stetner, in your testimony, you shared a report from the Institute for Women's Policy Research finding that women earn about 83 cents on the dollar compared to men, and for Black women, of course, it's closer to 67 cents. For Latinas, closer to 58 cents on the dollar compared to white men. So when we talk about modernizing wage laws, we can't afford to leave this context out. As long as skyrocketing corporate profits and poverty wages exist side by side in our country, our communities will continue to suffer needlessly. So we've grown accustomed to the idea that some people are bound to be wealthy and others are bound to live paycheck by paycheck. And the billionaires in the White House are counting on us staying accustomed to that idea. This should come as no surprise, given that our country, in my home state of Pennsylvania, has been stuck at a minimum wage of $7.25 for the last 16 years. Mr. Stetner, do you believe that $7.25 is enough for a worker to take care of their families? And will we ever address the wage inequity if that remains the federal wage floor?
The $7.25 minimum wage, I think everyone with common sense can know, even on a full-time job, you won't be able to support yourself. And that's beside that, most people are trying to even support a family on that little bit amount of money per week.
So my Democratic colleagues and I have supported legislation to raise the minimum wage and institute automatic increases based on the cost of living. How will those types of proposals benefit working people?
So it means that working people can know each year, as the price of living goes up, that their wages will go up. In many parts of the country, January 1st is a celebration day because states have put indexing in place. And once Congress does that, we won't have to be debating and keeping as a token or a chip of whether the minimum wage for the American worker goes up each year.
Thank you. And I can tell you from my time working on the fight for 15 that 15 is not enough. We need a wage floor that reflects the real cost of living. Workers shouldn't have to cobble together multiple jobs just to stay afloat. We also need to talk about the subminimum wage. While Republicans in the House are fighting to give over $4.5 trillion in tax breaks to billionaires and large corporations, tens of thousands of workers with disabilities are being paid as little as 25 cents an hour. Mr. Stetner, can you start by explaining the legal basis of separate treatment for workers by disability?
Section 14C of the FLSA allows people with disabilities to work in what are called typically sheltered workplaces. And it's the employer that gets to see, well, based on your ability, how much can I pay you? That's why people have been paid as little as 25 cents per hour. Only certain workplaces are allowed to operate in this way under Section 14C through certificates. People with disabilities do not want to work in segregated workplaces. They want to live and work in their community. That's why the number of certificates have gone down each year to just only about 500 across the country, and many states are already outlawing this practice. The Department of Labor has done the right step. We've issued a proposed rule to cease issuing any more certificates. And the idea that the Trump administration won't follow through and rather would say, let's put more workers with disabilities in this discriminatory environment in 2025 is something it's hard to contemplate.
And thank you. And just in the interest of time, I think there's so much more that we can talk about. The subminimum wage, right? Separate from the wages for those workers with disabilities, but those workers who work in service industries, restaurant workers, folks who we know live off of tipped wages where they see their employer able to shift the burden to the consumer. But we also know that those jobs are more likely to come with sexual and workplace harassments. We haven't talked about the benefits cliff, where we know so many folks who work for lower wages recognize the simple math, that if they get too little of an increase, but not enough, then they would lose the benefits that keep them in their homes or keep them with health care. Those are all issues that we have to take much more seriously. So I thank you all so much for your time and for allowing me to join today, and I yield back.
Mr. Grothman from Wisconsin.